those things. So it's yeah. Are you gonna let her talk? Is that a thing? Yeah. No, you're just gonna want to like lick and hug and be social critter.
Yeah,
All right.
she wants to love.
She wants to love.
She wants to love.
Oh, look, you got
live.
a ding. Oh, look at FC3 is
live.
live right now.
We got stuff.
We got stuff.
We got stuff.
We got dog slobber.
Yes.
So as always, as you well know it, it's 8 o'clock. It's Monday, and if it's 8 o'clock and Monday, it's Juno's trying to chew on Tanya. No, it's FC3's Nerd World News, and I am your host, Tanya Metris. This is your co-host, Chris Frank.
And this is Demon Puppy.
Demon Puppy.
Demon Puppy.
I just want to love. I just want to love. Hello, baby. Okay.
So she's only staying until Elizabeth says hi.
Elizabeth Rice has to say hi. We're putting up with this for Elizabeth. That's basically it. So we're going to start right off the top of the show tonight. Oh, put her down. Just put her down. It's not going. This is not good TV right now. I got to tell you.
Oh, I know you allowed to love. She wants to love.
Oh, yeah. We don't see. This is the nice thing about when we're hosting the podcast.
I don't have a dog sitting on my lap trying to.
Billy doesn't treat you like this.
No.
He's much gentler.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Billy's not trying to crawl all over
Here.
me.
Come here.
No.
Hang on. All right.
Oh.
Never work with children or animals in the show business. That's basically it. All right. So right at the top of the show, we've just spent the past couple of minutes basically being idiots. But
a minute 50.
But you love us.
Oh
but you
God.
love us, and that's all that matters.
She's like loving on me tonight. What's the deal?
She hasn't seen you in about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
I was just here on Saturday.
Oh, look, there's everybody.
Oh wow, that was a little thing.
Yeah,
she just saw me Saturday for the.
There's James and Dee and Terry and Bill and
media.
John and
hi.
And Sherry and Shannon.
Shannon, she's loving.
Shannon, you must come get her.
Yeah.
Shannon, come get her. It's over. No, I'm kidding. And there's Ellen. Hi, Ellen.
What? I know.
Yeah, I know.
I need a bigger chair.
You need a.
All
right. Elizabeth's gonna have to say I missed the Juno. All right. So top of the show, we're gonna do a quick reminder. We've got a mini con coming up. Yeah, there she is. We got a mini con coming up on the 27th. It's gonna be at the Grease Ridge Center Mall from 10 to 6. Vendors will be there, and we will have wrestler Dalton Castle. He'll be appearing from 12 to 4 to sign autographs, take pictures, and otherwise have fun. Now, the big thing is also right after MiniCon at the 585 Rockin' Burger Bar on Pixley Road, we'll be having a fundraiser also on the 27th. Cosplay karaoke. They'll be starting at 6 o'clock. And then the band Wicked will be starting at 8:30. Raffle baskets and 2 special raffles. Check this out, folks. This is important, all right?
Thank you.
Here's some of the stuff we're raffling off. Okay? And hi, Lynn, and hi, Ann. We have... Do I need to separate you two?
You need to talk to her.
She's like, she's going to listen. She's another child in my house. They don't listen to me. All right? So here we go. Special raffles. Number 1, a Game of Thrones basket complete with a Game of Thrones script signed by Rose Leslie, who played Ygritte. We now have a second special raffle for the event.
Second one?
We have a Walking Dead script. This one, all right, brace yourselves, kids. We have a Walking Dead script signed by Andrew Lincoln. So we have an Andrew Lincoln autographed script. That's good stuff right there. We also have a couple of other ones. As soon as we can make those official, we're going to be discussing that in the very near future. What's up, Jordan? Good to see you.
I have a quick question.
Ask your quick question.
How come none of the dogs became zombies in Walking Dead? Can anyone answer that?
Because dogs are faster than zombies, so they don't get bit.
Oh.
You know, zombies smell funny, so the dogs are not going to hang around. They're going to run for their lives.
I'm afraid that she's going to fall off my lap.
Well, then push her. She'll be fine. All right. I'm getting text messages. Deanna is mad at me. No, I'm kidding. All right. So
the first time won't be the last time.
Ticket prices for the Game of Thrones and Walking Dead items. Tickets are going to be $5 each, or three tickets for $10. Okay, so $5 per ticket, or you'll get 3 tickets for $10. For all other baskets in the 50-50 raffle at the fundraiser, it'll be $1 each, or 15 tickets for $10. And it heads up this week, FC3 Monkey Business Podcast. The topic is something we've been talking about for quite some time. This coming Wednesday, our podcast will be on toxicity in the nerd culture, something we've been wanting to talk about for a while. You can fill in the details, is in the subscript. Basically, I think the straw that broke the camel's back and the reason that kind of got us talking about it was the reaction to Haley Bailey being cast as Ariel in the live-action Disney Little Mermaid, and just how terrible it was and how unfortunate it was. So essentially what we're going to do is we spend an hour chatting about what we think about the culture and some of the things that can be done. We armchair quarterback it. So we start talking about some of the things that can be done to try and rectify it.
Look at
Hi, Chris.
the girl.
Chrissy is on board, and now Juno's like, hey, who's that puppy in the window? Woof, woof. The one with the slobbering face.
I'm trying to keep my slobber to myself.
Now, next week's Nerd World News, 1 week from tonight, is be coming at you from a special location. I'm going on location again.
Woohoo!
And but it'll still be 8 o'clock from what I'm being told. So stay tuned to the FC3 page for more information regarding later that week. I don't even know where I'm going. I do know where I'm going now. I do remember that.
It's got 4 initials.
It's got 4 initials, unlike me who has only 3. Actually, no, I have 4. If I include my confirmation name, I have 4 initials myself. So, hey, I'm just as cool. All right. So now for the news, it's semi-fit to print. We're going to start with some obituaries as it is. R.I.P. to 2 Hollywood celebs last week. First, Rip Torn. Torn appeared in numerous movies and TV shows such as Men in Black, Dodgeball, and The Larry Sanders Show. He was also in 30 Rock as General Electric CEO Don Geiss. He was 88 years old. And Torn is his actual last name. I did not know that. I thought it was a stage name. And R.I.P. to Denise Nickerson. The name not be familiar to most, but her character as she was Violet Beauregard, the gum-chewing girl who turned purple after beating a piece of gum that was not meant to be for consumption just yet from Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. She was 62.
Blueberry.
Yes, she turned into a big old puffy blueberry. Simi is writing my material. Yes, Bill, I actually think Simi is writing my material at this point.
Simi, not semi.
Simi.
I think Juno's writing the material.
It's a semicolon. There we go. By George, we found him. Catch this out. Sherlock Holmes 3 with Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law finally has a director. The news of the directorial hire is great for those waiting for another Sherlock Holmes movie, as it means that something is actually now on the way.
Woo!
For the past 8 years, the Sherlock Holmes movie franchise has been hiding dormant in the shadows, waiting for the schedules of Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law to finally align once again. Well, now with the Marvel Cinematic Universe behind him, it looks as if Downey is ready to return to Baker Street, but he'll be without director Guy Ritchie this time around. That might not be a bad thing. According to the new report from Variety, Warner Brothers is now moving forward with Sherlock Holmes 3 under the direction of Rocketman director Dexter Fletcher. Fletcher will take over for Ritchie and attempt to bring the Sherlock Holmes franchise to life once again.
If you want to chew on something, let's get a toy.
I'm telling you, there's a bunch of them out in the hallway. Downey is set to reprise the titular role of Sherlock Holmes, and Law is also expected to return as his trusty sidekick and friend, Professor Watson. However, it will still be quite a long time before we see this arrive in movie theaters. It's currently scheduled for 2021. As we find things out, as always, we will share that with you. Let's catch up on some comments here. Bill is saying he's back, and Chris is on board. Hi, Chrissy. All right.
And Juno is now chewing back on the monkey.
She's chewing.
Oh, no.
Nope, she's back on you, Tanya.
She just tried to chew my calf.
Do you want to do the Star Wars news?
What's happening in Star Wars news?
You do the Star Wars news.
Let's see.
She's a
I have
co-host.
just
It's time for her to
quick
earn that.
perusal.
Do it, please. Quick perusal.
Ooh, there's something about Sith troopers coming in Rise of Skywalker. What is a Sith trooper?
It's basically a stormtrooper, but they paint it red. I saw
Isn't it
a
like
stormtrooper.
one of the
and I
Emperor's
wanna
guards?
paint it red.
Wasn't the Emperor's guards red?
Yes, the Emperor's guards were red.
And the Emperor was a Sith Lord.
Yes.
So therefore, they're drawing that.
They're pushing it forward.
Oh, okay.
Read the script.
Okay, I'm gonna. They appeared in Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic, which I'm assuming Chris has played.
I have.
Yes. As foot soldiers of the Sith Empire. See, I didn't read any of these notes before this, so therefore
I don't read the notes either. I skim them. I look at the titles.
You know what? December 20th, we will be able to see the Sith Troopers, as that's when Rise of Skywalker is going to hit the theaters. So let's go just look for that in regards to the Sith Troopers. Just before SDCC, Lucasfilm dropped that little hint about Sith Troopers.
They did.
They were the Praetorian Guards for the Emperor, Red Trooper.
Yes.
Yeah. So
the
I just remember them coming in.
Lego's already started coming out with Red Stormtrooper Lego figures. So go with that. That's cool.
Can I just dip them in red paint?
You could, but they wouldn't move as well.
Yeah.
All right, give me that back.
Okay.
Game of Thrones prequel is featuring Starks, 100 Westeros kingdoms, and more. Oh my, 100 Westerosi kingdoms. 100 of them, not 6, not 7. 100.
It must be little.
They're going to be all little fiefdoms and kingdoms and stuff like that.
Like Andorra. Andorra's little.
Yes, Andorra's little. Who's Andorra?
Andorra's between France and Spain. The country of Andorra. It's small.
Is that where they based the country of Genovia on the Princess Diaries? Famous for pears. Famous for pears, by the way. Anne Hathaway's character.
Okay, let me move over this way. Hi, puppy.
There she comes again.
Oh, you went away for like 30 seconds.
Here, feed her those until she leaves you alone.
Oh.
All right.
Power bites.
The
Sorry.
super secretive Game of Thrones prequel
Down.
television series just got slightly less
Down.
mysterious thanks to franchise
Down.
creator George R.R. Martin.
Down.
The author is behind the upcoming series
Right.
alongside showrunner
Down.
Jane Goldman and shared some new facts recently about what Thrones fans can expect from the prequel. HBO kicked off production on the pilot episodes for the Thrones prequel in June. The biggest revelation, the fan favorite and central force of the original GOT series, Stark family, will be highlighted in some capacity in the prequel story. The Starks will definitely be there.
Patient.
Martin said, obviously the White Walkers, or as Martin calls them in his books, the others, will be an aspect of it. There are things like dire wolves and mammoths. One group of characters that will not be included in the Thrones prequels, the Lannisters. The prequel series is set long before the Lannister family makes a claim in Westeros. The prequel takes place thousands of years before the events of Game of Thrones, but this version of Westeros has far more than just the 7 kingdoms we have all come to know and love. There were 7 kingdoms at the time of Aegon's conquest, the author said, but if you go back further, there are 9 kingdoms and 12, and eventually you go back to where there are 100 kingdoms, petty kingdoms, and that's the era we're talking about here. As for the series title, Martin has been outspoken about wanting to call the series The Long Night. However, that was used for the Battle of Winterfell episode in the final season, which means Martin might have to come up with a different title. I've heard a suggestion that it could be The Longest Night. How original. What is the variant? I wouldn't mind, but that would be pretty good, he said. So, you know, it's possible that you're going to see some interesting stuff. I, myself, will never go back to Spectrum, so I'll just have to wait to come out on DVD. Peter is back online. Hello, Peter. Hello, Lynn.
I temporarily lost my water bottle.
Batman John, Cameron Boyce from Disney Descendants.
Yes,
we talked about him last week. We did talk about him last week.
Torn, we talked about him.
Yep, and Rip was our first mention of the evening. Hi, Terry. Good to see you.
A water bottle is not your toy right now.
All right. You know what? People saying working with kids and dogs in Hollywood is really not as cool as you think it is.
She's adorable.
She's not adorable. She's a menace. She's my menace, but she's a menace nonetheless.
She's the Australian menace, not the Phantom Menace.
Okay. All right. John Turturro's Big Lebowski spinoff, Jesus Rolls, bowls to the 2020 release. Dios mío, man, the Jesus is back. Screen Media has acquired the North American rights to the Jesus Rolls, the spin-off film based on John Turturro's breakout character, Jesus Quintana, from the Coen brothers' The Big Lebowski. The company announced that last week. Turturro wrote and directed the film, formerly titled Going Places, in which he reprises the role as the character in Screen Media and is planning a release in early 2020. Variety of people are attached to this particular project. Bobby Cannavale, Audrey Tautou, John Hamm, Susan Sarandon, and Pete Davidson are also going to be starring in the film, which is going to follow a trio of misfits, and its irreverent, sexually charged dynamic evolves into a surprising love story, probably John Turturro with his bowling ball. Anyway, he said it feels good. Feels like a good time to release a transgressive film about the stupidity of men who try and fail and try better to understand and penetrate the mystery of women, Turturro said in a statement. I'm not sure what exactly that means, but I'm sure it'll be interesting finding out. Walking Dead will introduce a key new character this season. Someone new to join the living ahead of The Walking Dead's season 10 premiere in October. It's been revealed that Dante from the comic book series will soon be on screen.
Where are all these new people or these alive people showing up from? You would think that since like the zombies have wiped out most of the United States.
You can get them in 6-packs at Wegmans in bulk. The bulk aisle.
Family pack?
Family packs at BJ's or Costco.
Costco.
Yeah.
Or Sam's out in Buffalo.
Sam's out in Buffalo is definitely a thing.
But it's like all of a sudden they're introducing a new living character, and I'm just like.
Well, you have to remember that a lot of people survived. It wasn't just our main characters, but a lot of people got to survive.
Yeah, I'm guessing maybe some crossovers from Fear the Walking Dead and things like that.
Exactly. So showrunner Angela Kang explained Dante's character. He is this roguish, fast-talking, sometimes charming, sometimes annoying guy who can sometimes put his foot in his mouth. Why, that sounds familiar. I feel like I know somebody like that.
Someone's got a foot in their mouth.
Yeah. But it is an interesting presence in the comics. Kang added that Dante will play prominently in the new season. In the comics, Dante is a key member of the Hilltop community and is Maggie's right-hand man. He also becomes her love interest following the death of Glenn. Although he won't serve those roles in the show, Kang says Dante's role will be just as important and adds that fans will be meeting some really cool characters this year. I feel like Doug Ebelich back when he was first getting. I'm doing my Doug impression.
Just push it off to the side.
There we go. Some quick notes. I'm going to take a quick break from reading through the news here. In the very near future, we're probably going to be taking Nerd World News to IGTV on Instagram, which will still beam itself to Facebook, but we're going to probably try to see if we can expand our audience a little bit, and IGTV apparently has some more capabilities. So we're going to be using that in the future. We're just trying to figure out the mechanics of it. Also, you're going to start seeing episodes of Nerd World News popping up on our YouTube channel.
They're already there.
They're already there.
So
there. Basically what's been happening this weekend is we've been busy downloading all of the Nerd World News over the past 6 or 7 months and getting them into YouTube. So this also means that you will be able to find them on Facebook. Hopefully, eventually, you will be finding them on Instagram. And then the next day, you'll be able to start seeing them on our YouTube channel. We're going to be making some processes. This little kind of whimsical, off-the-cuff idea is starting to evolve, and we're going to do what we can to help it evolve. As always, if there's topics you want us to cover or ideas that you might have for us, please feel free to let us know, and we will research that. Now, that was a little sidebar. Back to the news.
And back to those.
Back to the news. If we reach a certain level of viewership, I may even get a haircut. No, I'm just saying it's a possibility.
Or a certain amount of money for fundraising at the 585 Burger Bar this week.
That's a good
next
idea.
Weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
We did talk about that at the top of the show
We're
today.
thinking about different jars, and whoever gets the most amount of money doesn't have to sing.
Doesn't have to. I like singing. I'm good at it.
So therefore, you want to have all the money go to my bucket because you don't want to hear me sing.
Oh, we'll do a duet. It'll be fun. All right, Space Oddity turns 50. Ground Control to Major Tom. In honor of the 50th anniversary of the moon landing, David Bowie's Space Oddity is being re-released as a special double 7-inch single featuring new mixes. A new Bowie video for the song, combining footage from Bowie's Sound and Vision tour in the 1990s with footage shot at Bowie's 50th birthday concert in Madison Square Garden in 1997. This will premiere at a NASA event at the Kennedy Center on July 20th. Mortal Kombat reboot will be R-rated and will feature fatalities for the first time because, as we were saying last week in our podcast, Hollywood's been running out of ideas. It has been confirmed by screenwriter Greg Russo that the forthcoming Mortal Kombat movie, which will not be released until 2021, it will be R-rated and will feature fatalities for the first time. So let's face it, when playing the video game, when the words "finish him" appear on the screen,
it'll actually mean finish him.
It'd be incredibly gratifying to heed such advice. Yet it's an act we've not seen replicated on the silver screen until now. Let's see. I think it comes as something a surprise to think that two of the original features, Mortal Kombat in 1995 and Annihilation in 97, didn't feature any of the trademark gore and gratuitous violence that comes with the immensely popular video games. But now that apparently will be rectified, and it suggests a change in perspective and potentially a brighter box office return for this franchise, because we're all bloodthirsty suckers when it comes right down to it. Let's see. Peter is saying we had a great time last Tuesday night at the 585 Rockin' Burger Bar. I'm glad to hear that, Peter. It was great to see you there, man.
The one that's got the cute little daughter?
I don't know. Peter, are you the one with the cute little daughter? So
the cute little 3-year-old.
And Laura is on board. Hi, Laura. I'm getting buzzed. I could beat the band over
here.
here.
You know what? I could just Facebook search him right now.
Okay, you can do that.
Because I'm looking at his profile pic. I don't know if it's Peter.
Okay. All right. Next on the hit parade of fun, Nintendo unveils Switch Lite, exclusively built for handheld play, and it's going to be arriving on September 20th.
Woohoo!
Guess what the hot Christmas gift will be this year? Nintendo announced the release of the Switch Lite just in time for the holiday season. The handheld gaming console will come in 3 colors, teal, black, and yellow, and will cost $199. The unit will have a 5.5-inch screen, 720p screen. It'll be a 720p screen as well. It's not dockable. It will have no video out, and will have non-detachable Joy-Cons.
Right now, the Switch has these 2 things that come off on either side.
Because I can't tell you where my brain went. The battery life will be 20 to 30% better, and is described as a lower cost spin-off from the original Switch.
And stalking Peter right now, it is our cute little girl. Look,
she's a doll.
She's a doll. I don't know if you can see. I just picked up the from that superhero run. She has been out 2 weeks in a row. She's a
trooper too.
She's loving the games that we have there and playing things. She is adorable.
And this from James Irish. This week in Video Game News Roundup, Nintendo reveals a strictly portable version of the wildly popular Switch, which we just covered. He's going to be talking about it a little bit more. And he has got, let's see, my most anticipated release of the year. We have a bunch of interesting news to divulge. He will not be wasting any time, so that will be on our Patreon blog tomorrow. And now I'm watching myself.
Hold on.
It's Chrisception.
Yeah, I turned my volume down.
Yes, you did that. Look, Tanya Metris joined the channel.
Yeah, I can do that. Ann said Juno needs a treat, and I was about to answer her like she got like 5.
Sonic the Hedgehog producer promises fans will be pleased with the character redesigned. As you guys well know, and this was come from executive producer Tim Miller, when they started releasing the original screenshots and stills from what was going to be the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, people were like completely mortified because it did not look like anything that was in the actual video game. So they pulled it, they redid everything, and they said you're going to be a lot happier with what's going to happen next. They're still planning a delay. The film's release is scheduled for Valentine's Day of 2020 because nothing says romance more than a blue hedgehog running at full speed. Comic books are coming up this week. From the DC house, Aquaman number 50, Year of the Villain, as Aquaman settles the old gods of the unspoken water into their new lives in Amnesty Bay. Jackson Hyde, a.k.a. Aqualad, seeks out Aquaman to be his new mentor. Back in Atlantis, Mera makes a move that shocks the widowhood. Meanwhile, Black Manta, recently kicked out of the Legion of Doom, prepares to make his next move against his greatest nemesis. But Lex Luthor is about to make him an offer he can't refuse. Don't miss our landmark 50th anniversary and start of a brand new story arc. Let's see. Justice League number 28, also from the Year of the Villain. The Apex Predator Rises Justice Doom War is coming. This is the culmination of Legion of Doom's master plan, and they will take the Justice League to far-out places they may never return from, and do things the DC Universe may never recover from until the next time they reboot it. Yes, and look how it's got a big chewed-in hole.
This was a stuffed squeaky toy the other
2 days ago.
And it's now
2
empty.
days.
So she has destroyed our mascot.
Yeah, well, you know, she's not the only one who's been trying to do that. All right, so from the Marvel house, Deadpool number 15, Pay the Devil His Due. Mephisto and Weasel have come for Deadpool. Will Goodnight finally get his vengeance? Can Deadpool survive? And what will be left of him? Pinky finger. I'm betting on a pinker finger. Uncanny X-Men number 22, It's All Ending Here. This is forever. As Cyclops' cleanup mission nears its close, all the problems the X-Men face come together. The truth behind the Hellfire Club's intentions, the culmination of the One's assault on mutant kind, and even the inner struggles within the team. It all ends here. This is forever. That's for all the marbles. And from IDW, G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, number 264. G.I. Joe battles for justice, liberty, and freedom around the globe with the evil terrorist organization known as Cobra slithering around every corner. Living legend Larry Hama, a former FC3 guest, and superstar artist Netho Diaz continue the latest explosive arc of G.I. Joe.
Bless you.
This first of 2 connecting B covers will be from artist Dan Fraga. Now, as always, New Comic Book Day is Wednesday. Get to your favorite comic book store, or if you don't have one, go find one. There's plenty in the Rochester area.
And then listen to our podcast.
And then listen to our podcast later that day, because Wednesday is Podcast Day. Okay, so on this date,
Down.
here's the on this date section, so you know we're coming up towards the end of the show. On the 14th of July in 1975, plans announced for Epcot Center in Florida. The attraction would then open on October 1st of 1982. In 1983, Mario Brothers is first released by Nintendo in Japan as an arcade game about an Italian-American plumber.
Mario.
And in 2008, on the 14th of July, The Dark Knight, starring Christian Bale and Heath Ledger, premiered in New York. On the 15th of July, Die Hard, starring Bruce Willis and Alan Rickman, is released in the U.S. Yippee-ki-yay.
So now, is that why they call it Christmas in July? Because it's a Christmas movie?
It was a Christmas movie.
And it was released in July?
It's not fully Christmas. What has Andy said on several occasions? It's not fully Christmas until you see Hans Gruber falling from the Nakatomi Plaza. Hillary is on board. Hello, Hillary. Let's see. And Scott Fiend is on board. See, Scott, you should be here because you're better at this news stuff than I am. I remember back in the day when we were in Fisher's Music Farce, WFCX.
And Hillary, we need to talk about puzzles.
Puzzles.
I need to
puzzles,
get puzzles
Hillary.
to you.
Puzzles. It's very puzzling. You got to read some of this stuff like the narrator from Soap. I have to watch an episode of Soap to be able to do that. I remember there was a narrator, but I don't remember the tenor of the voice, so I will do that. That's a research project. Let's see, July 16th.
Taking Dan had seen it.
In 1969, on July 16th, Apollo 11 launched. There's a hint for something that we're going to be talking about next Nerd World News next week. I got myself with my own tongue twisted. On this day I was born 50 years ago. Happy birthday, Scott Fiend!
Should we sing?
No, he won't like that. He'll turn us off. And I want Scott to watch this because I like Scott. Happy birthday, Scotty. All right. 7/17/1954, construction of Disneyland commenced and opened a year later on July 17th, 1955. In 1987, on the 17th, RoboCop premiered. And let's see, the last big piece of news I'm going to talk about, on the 20th of July in 1969, Apollo 11 lunar module carrying Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins is in the command module up in orbit around the moon. They landed on the surface of the moon. Aldrin and Armstrong walk on the moon 7 hours later, becoming the first human beings to set foot on the moon. More about that next week. And there's your other hint. Something about the moon. Trust me, we will not be chucking the moon. We will just be talking about it.
Should I go chase Juno out of Jules's room?
Sure. I will not be working with a dog again in the future. Happy birthday to SpongeBob SquarePants, Jesse Ventura, Forrest Whitaker, Bridget Nielsen, Phoebe Cates, Will Ferrell, Corey Feldman, Donald Sutherland, David Hasselhoff, Tim Rose, Alex Winter, Billy Lord, Vin Diesel, Kristen Bell, Benedict Cumberbatch, Anthony Edwards, and so many more next week or this week. If it's your birthday, happy birthday to you. All the best to you. That's the news, and I am not Dennis Miller, so I'm not going to say the rest of that because he'll sue me. You never know what you're going to get. You really do. You never know what you're going to get. But this has been.
Get a puppy.
This is Monday. This is 8:30, and that was Nerd World News. Which, by the way, here we go. Check this out. If you want to support Nerd World News, there's going to be a new way to do it. We have a T-shirt. It's been designed. It's going to be through Amazon. So if you go to your Amazon, and since this is Amazon Prime Week, guys,
Prime Day.
This is Prime Day today. So check it out. Just search Nerd World News, and you'll see our T-shirt pop up. I've ordered one. It's going to be here on Thursday. I'm planning on having it. I'll be wearing it on Monday so you can see it. So if you will love us, you want to support us, go ahead and get that out there. Jennifer is on board. Photo Chica. Okay. And reading Andrew Chaikin's book right now. There you go. So Support us by getting t-shirts, apparently, is a thing. Also, if you want to support us, spread the signal, share the video, let people know where we are, and bring them to the party. And as I always say, if you keep watching, I'll keep making them. So it's been a wonderful evening. It's been a half an hour. Wow, I talked for a lot, don't I?
I know.
I'm going to have a cup of tea and a little bit of a nap now at this point. So this has been Nerd World News. I am Chris. That is Tanya. That is Juno. There she is. On command, even.
I helped.
Okay. And so you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Stop biting.